LaGrange College Commencement 2014. Many of these graduates came to LaGrange College knowing exactly what they wanted to study. They were quick off the mark and ran straight to the finish. Others were late bloomers. They were like slow-boiling pots who needed time to gather wisdom and make sense of the world around them. Once they got their bearings, however, they took action and turned from followers to leaders. Many of them went to the head of the class, literally. Meet some of the graduating class of 2014 who don't mind calling themselves late bloomers on this edition of LaGrange College Presents.
LaGrange College Presents.
If you attended a LaGrange College music or drama production during the 2013-2014 school year, you likely heard or saw Elise Wilkerson, a powerhouse singer with acting skills to match. Surprisingly, Elise had entertained skipping college altogether.
I don't know, I wasn't ready for it. I was like, I really wish there was something in between high school and college that I could go to that would prepare me for this, but I love it now. I absolutely love it.
I can scoop up a great big dipper full of lard from the dripping can. The road and the skillet go out to my shop and be back for more melts and flower woman.
When they announced Smokey Joe's Cafe, I decided to audition for it, and I was scared to death because there was a music portion we had to sing. I wasn't too worried about that. But then there was a dance portion. I'm awful at dancing. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to learn it and do it, and if they like me, then that's great. But
Did you ever hear a tenor sax? Swinging like a rusty axe. Hunger like a frog down in a hollow log. Baby, that is rock and roll. I'll make you talk. I'll make you talk. You cannot get away from me. I'll make you talk. I'll make you spit out blood. I will. I'll make you spit out blood. So you won't touch me.
the opera was called The Medium, and I performed fake seances for people who had lost children. And at the end of that, I went up to greet everybody, and I was hugging my little sisters, and they were like, "Oh, get away from me, we're scared." And I was like, "Oh, guys, that was just me acting." And my mom was like, "If I didn't know your personality, I would have thought that that's what you were really like." And I was like, "Whoa, thanks. That means I pulled it off." I feel I was one of the reasons I didn't want to come is I'm a really shy person. I think I am, but now I feel like I can't stop talking anymore. But I used to be a really shy person, and I didn't like meeting new people. I was just very, very introverted. But now I joined O-Team, and I'm a Hilltopper, and so now I just love meeting new people, and I love talking to people. I think that's definitely changed. I would still be that shy little girl from Fayetteville, Georgia, not doing anything, but where words fail, there's music, and even when you just can't find the words to say, there's always something that you can sing. You can just sing about it, and that's what I love about it. And so many people are touched by it, and I like that. I love that about it.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I lay my burdens down.
It's an unfortunate fact that many high school students go to college unprepared for the challenges that lie ahead. Perhaps the biggest difference between high school and college is the fact that there is no one looking over your shoulder, no one checking up on you, making sure that you read, write, and complete your assignments on time. In this interview, Andre Carter explains how a loving lecture from his mother turned this late bloomer into a go-getter.
Yeah, my first semester here, I wasn't really quite ready, I would say, for college. I mean, I went to a great high school, but at the same time, it was one of those high schools where you didn't really have to study, I would say, to get by. And I came here and I thought I had it all. I was on the football team, and everything was going my way until I got in the classrooms, and I wasn't quite ready for that challenge. I didn't know how to study, and it was tough. I ended up with a 1 point something GPA after my first semester. I went home for the Christmas break and everything, and grades were going out, and all my friends calling like, "You get your grade for science and biology and all that stuff," and I'm like, "Yeah, I ain't really checked," because I knew I wasn't doing too high. You can feel whether you're doing good in classes, and I was like, once I finally checked it, my mom, she started asking, how you do first semester? And I pulled it up for her, and I showed her on the banner web, and she was like, you're going to go back the second semester, and you're going to get your stuff together, or you're not coming back home. So it was either I get my stuff together, or I don't know where I'm going to sleep. So she I don't think she meant it in the sense that she'll kick me out, but she's always been a rock for me to keep me grounded, and that's exactly what she did. In my head, I knew I couldn't let her down. I mean, I'm one of the first people in my family. I am the first person in my family to go to college. And this year, I'm finishing up. So it's just a great accomplishment. Like, to see my mom smile and to know how proud she is and how proud I'm making her, it's worth $1 million. I went from just wanting to be a PE coach, football player type guy to actually wanting to teach a subject area. And I feel like I'd be great at it. It's something I really enjoy. So I really like doing it. And I went down to Whitesville Road, and everything just started rolling, and the kids came in, and they were just like in love with me, and I was in love with them, and it was just an automatic connection. Whitesville Road is one of those schools where they need somebody to love them. Before they need a teacher, they need somebody to love them. And I love them, they love me, and it's been amazing. I actually get them tickets to come down to the football games, and they root for me. Got my own little fan section there, and it's ridiculously crazy, and I love them to death. And some of the baddest kids, I take them and I sit down and I talk with them, and I just talk to them. And they're human, and they know I'm human, and they just talk to me like they're talking to their friends. And once they get that relationship with you, that's when you can teach them. That's when you can tell them what's right and wrong, and that's what you can tell them, what to do. I mean, but as far as just going in and say, hey, I'm the teacher, you're the student, you do this and I'm gonna do this, they're like, oh, they're rebels to it, because they're not used to somebody holding them and having compassion for them. So when they get that, it's new, but they like it, So it's one of those things I enjoy doing.
Nathan Swanson is perhaps the king of the late bloomers. He spent almost 20 years in corporate sales and marketing before deciding that a change was in order and that he needed to take action.
About 6 years ago, me and my wife met, and it was both of our second marriage. And so we have a combined marriage with hers, and our kids now. At that time, I had a sales job at a car dealership here locally in LaGrange. And so it was 6-7 days a week, 12, 14, 15 hours a day. And so it really wasn't conducive for a family life. And so LaGrange College was right here home. It's my mom's alma mater, and just it all kind of fell into place. I got accepted here into the nursing program. I got the SIM scholarship, and then I got a job working as a tech in the ER here at our hospital. I started hearing people talk about this SIM scholarship. For anyone that wants to apply for it, that is accepted into a nursing program, they can go to pretty much any school. They'll pay for any school. And you just work off whether you get 1 year's worth of scholarship, 2 years worth of scholarship. You then in turn work for that hospital, for West Georgia Health, in return for the scholarship. And I tell you, as a father and husband with a family and household, it has been the lifeline of me being able to do what we've done. We're about 38 students in our class, And it's a very good mixture of non-traditional and traditional, I think, in our class. And talking with previous graduates, they come out and they talk about just how well LaGrange College nursing program has prepared them for the workplace and the testing that comes after you get out of here. Because it's not done when you graduate. You still got continued education in this field throughout life. I enjoy the ER. I enjoy the dynamics of a lot of things going on at a lot of times. But I don't know that it's necessarily a place for me. I'm going to precept in the ICU. And both places have extremely good atmospheres, is what I'm trying to say. And so I'm looking forward to see how I like that and try to base my decision on which one I like better. I know that the ER is seems like they're anxious to keep me, and so that's definitely an option.
Many people say that LaGrange College is the perfect place for late bloomers. Brian Kempson had played the drums all his life, but had never learned how to read music. When he arrived at LaGrange College, Dr. Tony Anderson, coordinator of the music program, and instructor Ken Passmore recognized Brian's late-blooming talent and took him under their wing. The result? By his junior year, Brian Kempson was the go-to guy when a percussionist was needed for a campus or community event, orchestral performance, or stage musical.
I think my dad got me my first drum set when I was one. And he said I tore it up. I would beat on pots and pans and stuff, anything I could get my hands on. So I had always played in church, stuff like that. But I had no other kind of exposure to like reading music, sight reading, any of that before I came here. Everything is driven off of percussion music. It's like the foundation, the base of an entire group. It's not just, I see these rhythms, I'm play these rhythms. No, but there's a lot of dynamic and feeling, expression that you have to put into it to get the sound, the exact sound that you want to come out, and it really takes time to master it. Percussion ensemble started the first year that I got here. So now we grew from, I think, 4 at the time when I came here to now we're at like 12, 13 people in the ensemble. Stage playing percussion, the music itself says so much to everybody. Like, music is a language of its own. When I'm playing percussion, that's my way of expressing myself.
Some late bloomers are convinced that their lives are pointed in the right direction, only to discover, slowly over time, that they are better suited for something totally different. In high school, Alex Blount decided he wanted to become a history teacher.
And I knew that missions was something that I wanted to do. My name is Alex Blunt. I'm a senior religion and philosophy major here at LaGrange, and I'm from Powder Springs, Georgia. I'm part of the Baptist Collegiate Ministries here on campus, and they send people to different places each summer, both in America and overseas, to do mission work. I spent my summer in Sarakam, Thailand. We taught at the university, and we taught English classes. Through that, we built relationships with students and made tons of friends. And our focus was just to talk about faith through the friendships that we built. We didn't want just to go around as Westerners coming around just to spread this idea around, but we wanted to go and provide something for them, a service, which was teaching English, and they wanted to know that. And we were glad to do that for them. But through that, we wanted to use that as a catalyst to share the gospel, and I believe that was an advantage on our part because they were willing to listen to somebody that was their friend, rather than, like I said, just a Westerner coming up and saying, "Here's a track," or "Here's a DVD. Look at this and tell me what you think." Depending on the day, we would go to an elementary school in a village, and we would go and do simpler lessons with them, and we would have like shapes on cards and teach them, circle, square. We would do that in stations, and then the pastor of the church we were at would also give a gospel message. Anywhere that I could, I guess, best reach the people that I'm trying to minister to would be my dream job, whether that's in Sarakam, Thailand, Moscow, Russia, LaGrange, Georgia, wherever that might be, wherever I feel that God has led me to, I should be there.
Nicovia Sweet was a late bloomer in the sense that she knew from childhood that someday she wanted to write and produce music. What she didn't know was how she was going to gain the musical knowledge, the technical know-how, and the experience it would take to make her mark in a truly competitive business.
I came in composition, but I actually did not know anything about composition. I was a lyricist, but I never wrote chords or made harmonies with any of them. And I also didn't know anything about technology. Paul Hammock. I got working with him right away, and I learned so much because, like I said, I knew nothing. And immediately I got working on recording and how to engineer, and it's just expanded from that point on to where I'm doing a lot of student works, and as well as my own works. I'm working with Lee Johnson. I've actually started composing my own music, which I'm very proud of. Working with Paul Hammock it's just a wonderful, it was a great experience to have. He's such an intelligent man. He knows a lot about how audio engineering works, and even about some instances of the music industry, how it works. And I get so much experience. He teaches you, like, if you want a certain sound for a certain way, he says, okay, you should EQ it this way and add this amount of compression. As I've gotten more experience and worked closer with Paul, and even with his theater department filming some of their events, I've learned more about video and about audio, and I've become somewhat more confident, and I know exactly where I want to go. I want to work in the audio technological side of things, in the video side. It's always been important for me to do a good job and to make sure I do the best job I can do to my best ability, because I don't want to disappoint anyone, and I definitely don't want to disappoint myself, because if you don't put the work in, you won't get the work out. So I always put 110% in everything that I do, and if I feel like I can't do it, I'll be willing to ask someone else for help, because I want this done to be as best as it can. So I'm going to ask someone for help to make sure it is produced and done at the best that it can be done.
Janice Ray, the featured speaker at the college's 2014 graduation ceremony, is an author, instructor, and noted environmentalist. At the conclusion of her address, she offered some advice to the new graduates and their families.
Do all the good you can, in all the ways you can, by all the means you can, in all the places you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can. And may the goodness in your heart, and your actions of hope, love, and faith come back like flocks of songbirds to rest on your doors. Thank you.
In this edition of LaGrange College Presents, we're talking about late bloomers, young men and women who spent years planning for success in one career field, only to later discover their true calling in another. Cameron Johnson had planned to major in pre-medicine and become a pediatrician, but shadowing a pediatric nurse for a week took care of that idea.
We are all geniuses, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it'll live its whole life thinking it's stupid. I guess I could associate that quote with all the experiences I learned. It's just that every student is smart and every student has a gift, and I think it's just finding that potential. My name is Cameron Johnson, and I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. And I originally went to Tiffin University. It's located in Ohio, and I played softball for 1 year. My undergraduate is in early childhood education, and we did our field experiences in each grade. And then my last year we did student teaching, and I was in 5th grade at Franklin Forest Elementary. And I also had the great opportunity of doing internships while I was here due to having 4 years, and I had a semester to where I was able to do an internship at a cognitive therapy center located in LaGrange, Georgia. It's called Brain Jogging, and I worked with a child diagnosed with autism and some other learning disabilities, and he's located in New York. And so I was able to go to New York and just have that experience and work with that child, and that was a huge blessing. It was like watching a miracle happen, really, the progress that he made there. In June, I will be going for a week in the UK, and we'll be visiting classrooms, observing classrooms, and then some of the students who have finished their thesis will be presenting their thesis to a board. And so we'll be there for a week and just learning about their education system, which will be amazing. The first time I taught in kindergarten, when I was at Rosemont, it was just instantly when I walked in, it was just kind of like, because the students, I love being a child. It like brings out the child in me. And I didn't like school growing up, which is really interesting. I didn't like school a whole lot. I love to learn though. I just did not enjoy school. And I think throughout the process, I just realized like school can be fun. And I think that's what I kind of want to do, is take that experience and make it the way I wish school was. I was diagnosed with ADHD, or ADD, when I was younger. And so that has been a huge challenge because chronic lateness or disorganization, and I know a lot of people, they see it as not really a disability or it's been overdiagnosed, but I think that has definitely been something I've had to overcome, and I'm still overcoming. I came in still trying to figure out who I am, what I believed in, where my faith was, and if I even had faith. And so that's what really made coming to LaGrange perfect for me. It was definitely like supposed to happen because I was in that transition of what I believed. And so when I came here, it was just like home. I guess it was just like home, and I was able to find and search and ask questions and really dig deep into who I am and what I believed in and who I want to be. And I don't think I would have been able to do that anywhere else. There was no bad question, there was no judgment on a question. It was always keep searching, you'll find it.
Late bloomers are often deep thinkers who aren't trying to keep up with everyone else. Because they tend to have a tremendous amount of patience, they make better decisions and fewer mistakes. That was the case with Josh Clinton. He came to LaGrange knowing that the degree he wanted would take at least 5 years to complete.
American Megatrends, they do BIOS systems, so when you start your computer up, the software that connects the hardware to the actual operating system, I'll be programming and working with that. Well, I knew I wanted to go into engineering when I first started looking at colleges, and I started talking to some of the coaches down here about playing football, and they suggested a dual degree program that they offered here and said that they had one that did pre-engineering. You come to LaGrange and you take all of your core classes and everything like that for 3 years. Then you transfer into Georgia Tech. As long as you meet a certain GPA requirement, you're automatically accepted into the school. And then you take 2 years there and take all of your engineering classes. Yeah, it was definitely tough when I first got to Tech. just change in atmosphere, changing class size, everything like that was kind of tough. And I definitely thought about a couple times just coming back to LaGrange for one more semester and graduating, and then maybe later on down the road go for a master's or something. But so I really had to push through that time. But once I made it through that first and second semester, the job that I just got a job offer for is starting off as a software engineer. And basically, you come into the company, they train you for 3 months, and then kind of give you different projects to start working on. And you can definitely move your way up through the company to where you actually take over certain projects and be the team leader for those projects. And that was one of the things that they actually really liked, was that I was captain of the football team here, so they knew that I had leadership experience. LaGrange really laid a strong foundation for me in all of my math and sciences, and helped me graduate from Tech also with a decent GPA.
By the authority granted to me by the trustees and by the state of Georgia, I confer upon each of you the degree which you have earned, together with all the appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining.
Courtney Nicole Bechel. Christopher Isaiah Whitfield. Kelsey Hunter Phillips Cannell. Thomas Conrad Clevenger. Janessa Milligan. Kent Taylor Gibson. Emery Elise Wilkerson. Charles Taylor Wynn Jr. Audrey Elizabeth Portman. Taylor Elise Dixon. Katie Grace Elder. Stephen Perello. Emily Claire Worthy. Christopher James Weller. Joshua R. Clinton.